Do you ever feel like you're doing way too much for other people because you really want to fit into the group and be a part of something? In this video, I'm going to show you what the need for validation is, why you don't feel good enough, and why you feel like you need to fit into crowds all the time and you always go that extra mile for people and say yes for everything.
Yes.
And you don't know how to say no and protect yourself. And then I'm going to give you some strategies for how to actually stop that. So number one is, why do people have a need for validation?
Why?
So this shows up in so many different areas in terms of wanting to fit into a crowd, wanting to have that filled sexually, wanting to have that fulfilled in terms of career, business, or anything. And you get stuck in this mindset of always trying to fit into different things. If you're hanging around a certain crowd and you have the example of, oh, I need to be achieving money and success, so I'm going to keep trying. And then you start getting deals or something and you're that person who's like, oh, sorry guys, I'm too busy, but really you actually want to connect with people. And the only reason you feel busy is because you're pouring way too much time and energy into your business because it makes you feel important. And if you had a friendship group of people who, for example, accepted you when you got validation from girls, they're like, oh, that's a good looking guy, or that guy can get girls, or all those different things. And then you're that person who gets girls. So once you finish with that friendship group and you go on to live your life and actually mature and go through better things, now you have a sex addiction and a need for validation from girls. So now you're at that position where you're always on dating apps, where you're consistently messaging people on Instagram and consistently meeting girls or different people and trying to have sex with goddamn everybody just to fill a hole that you can't fill yourself. Or you're just in that position where you really want to fit in and feel welcomed by other people. So you'll do things like stay out really late. You'll drink alcohol. You'll take drugs with them and you'll be the last one to go. That people will ring you up on a Saturday night and be like, hey man, let's come out. Let's go out tonight. And you're like, oh. And really you're like, I can't because I have work and all these things that I need to put my time and energy and effort into. But you say yes. Yes. Every single time. Because you're like, I want to hang out with these people. They need me. And because I'm needed, I have to go. Which then creates a fear of missing out that lasts all the goddamn time. So what can you actually do about this? And the number one thing is to take the really big, bitter pill and that big, bitter truth and swallow it. Because what is really important is that self-awareness and self-knowledge of who you truly are. Myself and a lot of people that I surround myself with and all my successful friends and my amazing network that I have, all the people who do become successful and do achieve true fulfillment and happiness and purpose within inside themselves are the people who have taken the time and spent the time to really learn about themselves. And I'm going to share with you a few tips you can actually do to figure that out. One thing that is really important is you want to go through your life in terms of where you are now, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and figure out in each time of your life, every time a need for validation hit you, something really negative happened in your life and you didn't feel good enough and you didn't feel like you were a part of a crowd and then you had to do something in order to fit in, and you figure those out within your past life through from the time you were born to where you are now. And when you can pinpoint those things, then you can start to saturate yourself with forgiveness. You need to forgive yourself, bro. When you're at that stage in your life, when you are trying to get to that second mountain, as in you've tried to figure out your purpose, you've tried a business, you've tried relationships, you've tried to make money, you may or may have been successful in those things, you tried to get financial freedom, you tried to get freedom in your life somehow, and then they've either worked or they haven't, but then you're at that stage where all of those things that you needed to do and those motivations that you had aren't really important anymore. And now you need to climb that second mountain. And the big question is, how do you do that? Because it's so easy to fall in the position where you're trying new distractions. You're overworking all the time. You're consistently doing the same thing that you've always done and you just feel so ready to break that cycle, but you have no idea to do so. Or you're at a stage where all your friends and stuff are starting to still do the same thing and you're starting to recognize what they're actually doing and you're thinking to yourself, I don't actually want to do that anymore. I want to work on my dreams, my passion, and my purpose, but I need to figure this stuff out before I get there. One thing you can do is see a therapist, but I don't really encourage that. What I'm encouraging you to do as a man is to find a group of men who are all working passionately on the same damn thing, where they're trying to be the best version of themselves. Sometimes your network is your net worth. And what's really hard to do if you're in this position and you're suffering from not feeling good enough of validation is actually asking for help. Who do you want to ask for help? Well, one person you can ask for help is me. I run a group coaching program called Overcome the Chaos for men who want to balance their professional and personal lives and become the best version of themselves through all of these things. I can help you. I have an application link below. You can always click. Otherwise, I would strongly recommend you to start just listening to audiobooks and podcasts and a lot of Jordan Peterson. A really good book to listen to is The Way of the Superior Man. I highly encourage that. The second book I recommend getting to is called The Second Mountain by David Brooks. And it is an amazing book that explains all of these different things. And if you're not implementing these things into your life and you think to yourself, oh, I haven't got the time, or I haven't got this, or this is not what I want to do to figure it out, then you're going to stay in the consistent cycle of just going around and then punishing yourself and not feeling good enough and overworking and overworking. And what I can tell you is, from someone who coaches people in this position all the time, whenever you set that intention or make that goal to start moving forward and break that cycle, is your ego is going to flare up. And this is the most important thing to learn in this video, is when your ego flares up and you make that single decision to, I'm going to change this, I'm going to break this, I'm going to get rid of this need for validation of my own self-worth because I want to increase it and be confident, is then your ego is looking for ways out. I'm going to tell you a story real quickly of what happened to one of my clients. So he was a sex addict and sort of addicted to porn and sex and going on dating apps. One of the things that we worked on was, I said to him, well, let's go for a small period that you decide, not that I've decided, that you're going to go without doing anything. No masturbation, no porn, no sex. And essentially what happened is he failed 3 times before he crushed his goal, which changed his whole mind and his workings. Now, the whole reason that we had that was to really understand how his mind was working. This is the power of mindset. So essentially what happened is he understood where his ego was because every time he committed to the challenge was he immediately thought to himself, wait, what am I doing this for? Hang on a second. What do you mean that I can't have sex? I can have sex. Or what if I just message this girl? Well, I could just hang out with her for a little bit. What if I just kiss her and don't have sex with her? Then that might happen. Or I could just have sex and I won't ejaculate or something like that. All of these thoughts are going through his head. It's just his ego was trying to figure out his way to worm his way in there and bring him back down. This is when you're at the point of changing into a new person. And this is a dragon that comes up that you really need to slay. This can also happen in terms of success. Oh, like I'll stop this certain thing, whatever it is, and I'll start another business. Or you'll be in that position where you're like, okay, I'm not going to go out this weekend and I'm going to stay in and I'm going to work on myself. And then what happens is you think of all these other reasons why you have to go out and you need to go out and you need to do these things. And when you start being aware of these thoughts, what you need behind you is support. And that's where that asking for help thing comes in again. And it's so important. If you didn't have a group behind you or a community of kings or people just like you or people that you want to be like behind you, and they're not pushing you forward and helping you get to these goals and you're confiding in them and talking to about them, you need to get one. And I highly encourage you to get one. Either get yourself a personal development coach. You can join one of our programs if you like, or make sure you got a community of people who have the same goals or a similar goal to you so that you can go out there and absolutely crush it. So one of the things that I would just like to mention is that we are creating the best community of high-performing modern leaders who want to become the best version of themselves, health, wealth, relationships, career, purpose, to live their most ultimate life. And our community and network is growing. We want to make it the best in Australia and then the best in the world. And if you're interested in any of the stuff that we're doing and you want to move forward, you can follow me on Instagram, CoreyBoutwell.com. You can listen to any of my podcasts called the Corey Boutwell Podcast. And there's an application link below to fill out if you want to jump on and start doing some of this stuff. So I hope you guys learned something from this. And if you did and you liked it, please subscribe to the channel because it really helps out. And I can't wait to drop another bomb on you guys. Peace.